Hello everyone, welcome to this board game overview video for Dark Souls the board game's Boss Loot! Yay! So, in this video I'll be going over the mechanics and my opinions of the various Boss Loot cards for all 4 mini-bosses and 2 regular bosses. For the most part, a lot of this loot is very useful. It can be very useful in the game, providing you have a build for it to be able to pick it up, but most of the time it's just nostalgia bait. It's really just, these are the thematic cards that fit more with the, these cards are the more thematic items that would fit with the boss, either stuff that you get from transposing or I don't remember what it's called in the 2 earlier games, but taking the boss soul and making an item out of it. Or that could drop off of it, or in the case of the Gargoyle, its tail axe is in there and you could just chop it right off. In the case of the mini-bosses, it would be it drops from it. Yeah. They seem to be decent items. They seem to be up there with the legendary items, yes, items. I keep forgetting that they are actually called legendary items, even though they're all weapons. You gain the mini-bosses at the same items at the same time that you would gain as the legendary weapons would go to your treasure deck. And the boss items, they're there, but they're only useful if you're doing campaign or anything that might come afterwards, which is presumably the mega bosses when they do come out, because I think it's supposed to be you fight them afterwards. But with that said, let's get on to the cards.
First off, we have the Titanite Demons items, starting off with just a piece of Titanite. It's exactly the same as what you can get from the treasure deck. Then, we have the Titanite Catchpole, the weapon that the Titanite Demon wields. Requiring a 28 strength and a 22 dexterity, it should be easily usable by the warrior and possibly the knight. It has a 1 reach, is a 2-handed weapon, and for 1 stamina, you can get 1 black die, 1 blue die, and all of these attacks are magical and also can't be done at range 0, just like most polearm weapons. For 4 stamina, you can either do 2 blue dice and attack everything in the node, which, again, with as I've said before, reach weapons, that means you can hit 3 targets, or you can move once and get 2 blue dice. Also, it applies 1 black dyed armor and has 1 upgrade slot. Then we have the Gargoyles items, because for some reason the Titanite Demon only has 2. I believe Ornstein and Simoes have 4 and all the rest have 3. We have the Gargoyle Shield with a 25 intellect and 25 faith necessary. This one's pretty nice. Should be easily usable by either the assassin or the herald. Gives some pretty high resist with 2 blue dice and 1 black die for an armor, but sadly has no upgrades. Then we have the Gargoyle Halberd, which honestly is probably one of the better weapons in the game. It is a polearm weapon, thus has reach of 1 and cannot attack on the note. Can't attack at range 0. Requires a strength of 25 and a faith of 25. 2-handed weapon, and for 0 you can do 1 orange die, or for 4 you can do 2 orange dice. Now I know that there are some better weapons for that second part, but that first part, that's really good. Also, it applies a +1 black die to armor and has 2 upgrade slots. The Gargoyle Tail Axe is a 25 strength, 25 dexterity, and for 1 stamina, as a 2-hander, for 1 stamina ends up being 2 blue dice, or 3 blue dice for 4 stamina, attacking everything in the node. Again, this is not a reach weapon, so you can only attack 2 things with that. Gives you +1 resist, and also has 1 upgrade slot. Then we move on to the Winged Knight's items. With being a polearm, the Winged Knight Halberd, again having a reach of 1 and everything and can't attack in its own node, it requires a 32 strength and a 16 in everything else, making it kind of annoying to gain access to, but whatever. It's worth it, because as a 2-handed weapon, for 0 stamina, you can deal damage with 1 blue die, or 2 blue dice with 3 stamina, or spend 1 more to attack everything in the node for 2 blue dice, as well as gain a blue die for armor, and also have 2 upgrade slots. Now, the Winged Knight armor is probably, from what I've seen, one of the best non-bonus effect armors in the game, seeing as it's only a strength of 24 and a faith of 24 required. It has, with the 2 upgrade slots, an orange die for both armor and resist. And lastly, apparently it was the Winged Knight that has 4 items. Was it? Nope, sorry, still 3. We have the Winged Knight Twin Axes, with a strength required of 30 and of dex of 34. It's a 2-handed item. Really, you're dual wielding, but it's still 2. All of these can double attack with either, for 0 stamina, a black die plus 1, 2 for a blue die plus 1, or 4 stamina for an orange plus 1, and has 1 upgrade slot and the first dodge item from the bosses. Next, we move on to the last mini-boss, the Outrider Night, which with the Ethereal Straight Sword, having a 23 strength and a 23 intellect requirement, a one-hander. It can, for 0, do 2 black dice plus 1, or for 3, replace that 1 with a blue. I don't think that's really worth it, but if you need it, it's always worth a chance. And either attack ends up being Frostbite. Now, I did say in the mini-boss overview for this guy that I didn't remember anything that had Frostbite. That's because I forget to look at the boss weapons a lot. Also has 1 upgrade slot. Next, we have the Ethereal Rapier, requiring a 24 dex and a 24 intellect, making it really good for the assassin. As a one-hander, also having Frostbite with both of its attacks, it's basically just like the straight sword, except a little bit different. In this case, you spend 0 for 2 black dice, or 2 for 1 black die and replacing the other one for a blue die. It also, unlike the other, it gives you a +1 black dyed armor and has 2 upgrade slots. Next, we have the Outrider Armor, with a 24 dex and a 24 dexterity requirement, makes you immune to Frostbite. Unfortunately, the only monster right now that deals Frostbite, you would fight before getting this. But it does give 2 black dice to armor, 1 black die to resist, has a dodge, and is a 2 upgrade. For those stat requirements, that's not bad. Now, before we actually get onto the regular boss item cards, I want to remind people these are not useful until either the mega bosses come out or until you do a campaign run, because once you beat the main boss without doing one of those 2, the game's over. There's no equipping these. But regardless, we go on to Ornstein and Simoes items, starting with Simoes Hammer. We have a 1 reach, 37 in strength requirement for a 2-hander. In both cases, using Simoes Hammer, you gain +1 health. But for 2 stamina, you use a blue die and an orange die. And for 6, you use 2 blue dice and 2 orange dice. This is probably the single hardest hitting weapon in the game, but that stamina requirement is crazy. And it only has a 1 upgrade slot. The Dragonslayer Armor is a requirement of 21 strength and 31 faith, or honestly, +1 black and blue for physical and resist, as well as makes you immune to bleed and has 1 upgrade slot. This isn't actually too bad. Then we go on to Simoes Armor, which also has a 37 strength requirement, just like his hammer, gives 2 blue dice for both physical and resist, and 1 upgrade slot, but you can't dodge or run. Reminder to people, running is moving at all beyond your first step. So you get the 1 for free, and then you can spend stamina. So it really means you can only move 1 step per turn. I think this is more of a joke item, honestly. And then the last item for the pair, we have the Dragonslayer Spear, requiring a 27 strength and a 27 faith. As a one-hander, it is a polearm-like weapon, so +1 reach, and can't attack in the node for it can attack in your own node for all the attacks. Also, in the case of this one, has magic for all of the attacks. Results in, for 0 stamina, you get 1 black die and 1 blue die. For 4 stamina, increase that to 2 blue dice. Or also for 4 stamina, you just get the 2 blue dice, but you have the 4 reach. I'm assuming this is implying the lightning bolt attack that you can do, that Ornstein does. And it has 1 upgrade slot. It's interesting, but not great. Now on to the last one, the Dancer's items. We have, for a two-handed weapon, and with a 36 dexterity and 26 intellect, the Dancer's Enchanted Swords. Both as a dual-wielded weapon, has both double attacks on both of its things. Also has magic attacks and +1 move beforehand. But for 2 stamina, you get 1 blue die, and for 4 stamina, you get 1 black and 1 blue. Remember, you spend the stamina cost once to do this twice. It has 1 dodge and 1 upgrade slot. I don't think this is too bad, but it's not great. Next up, we have Soothing Sunlight with a pure 38 faith. Honestly, I think this is the best heal in the game. For 4 stamina, all characters within range, so 1, which means your node and next to you, gain 4 health. So for 4 stamina, you regain 4 health, and as does anyone else near you. In a 4-character game, this is great, but you gotta really manage it right. And then our last card, we have the Dancer's Armor, requiring a 35 dex, a 25 int, and a 25 faith. You get 1 black armor, 1 black resist die, a 2 dodge, which is always very nice, and a 1 upgrade slot. Also, when you walk, you may move 2 nodes instead of 1. Reminder, just like I said before with the whole run thing, and this is the exact opposite. This is that 1 free step. Not that, it will help you with Simoes Armor, because you're wearing one or the other.
Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. If it was, feel free to press the like button. If you think it will help somebody else, feel free to press the share button. And if you didn't like it or it wasn't helpful, go ahead and press that dislike button, but please try to leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general, and if you want to see more like this, be it other board game overview videos, unboxing videos, or my painting videos, and anything else I do on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.